Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the call today. If you'd take a minute to tie up the opener against ULM, and we expect to see you to begin conference play on the road Saturday against UCF, please.
Yeah, obviously we're excited about being 1-0, being able to win the home opener. I thought our guys came out and even though it was some extreme weather conditions, with the storms that came in, I thought our guys came out and got off to a fast start. I was really pleased that we were able to establish the run. You had some explosive plays in the running game. Did a great job with our special teams units. We had created a takeaway and had an explosive kickoff return for a touchdown. And then, defensively, we were able to come out and stop the run, for the most part, and really dominated the game for about 3.5 quarters. Obviously I'd like to finish a little bit better than what we did, but was definitely excited about being 1-0 at the end of Thursday night, and it sets up our conference opener against a tremendous opponent, a very well coached and talented UCF team that is coming off a big win for them, where they played well in every facet of the game. So we know we've got a great challenge, especially going on the road into a very hostile environment. We're going to have to play our best game, and you have a great week of preparation.
The questions for Coach Norvell, please. *1 on your telephone keypad will put you in the queue, and then the operator will introduce you.
Thank you. Our first question will come from Matt Marshall with Orlando Sentinel.
Hey, Coach. I want to see what have you seen so far out of UCF in that first game, and what sort of things do you have some concerns about going forward?
Yeah, you see a team that's explosive on both sides of the ball in the special teams, phase. A lot of great athletes, that also possess really good size. You look on their offensive and defensive fronts. They've got very some massive players that are extremely powerful, and then they're in the back end. From the linebackers to secondary to running back skill position. Everybody can run, and so for us it's gonna present a great challenge because both sides of the ball are multiple. Do a lot to maximize the schemes and you're utilizing the talents of the players that they have, and there's challenges presented in every area, but we're excited about it. We know that this team that we're playing is going to be one that contends in their division, and one of the better teams here in our conference. So we're definitely excited about the opportunity.
I also wanted to ask, you mentioned with the weather situation you guys went through, is that what kind of maybe contributed a little bit to Riley's performance, just because you kind of then relied on the running game because of the weather?
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge. The weather was pretty extreme there, early in the game, and so you being able to throw the ball and push the ball down the field was difficult. So I think that definitely had a factor to it. But at the end of the day, we've got to continue to make sure that we're putting our guys in a great position to be successful. And I was glad to see that the running game was able to carry us in those conditions.
Have you got one more thing? Have you guys had I know with Hurricane Irma kind of making its way towards Florida, has there been any discussions with with UCF about maybe keeping track of that before you guys head down here for the game?
I personally have not. I'm sure Tom Bowen and has probably had any conversations that might come up, but that has not come to me if there has been any.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question will come from Brian Moss from TigerSportsReport.com.
Hey, Coach. Is there any update on the kids that went down, like Jannard Avery or Jared Gentry?
Yeah, we had a couple of guys that went down and in the game, and a few of them, are a little bit more significant, injuries. But we're tracking through this week, we'll get a better sense of exactly where all those guys, Jannard, Dorland, exactly what their status is. But it was definitely something that was a contributor there early. We played a lot of different guys with when a couple of them that. One of the couple of guys that did go down, And so, it provided an opportunity for some young guys to step up and get an opportunity to play. So, we're going to continue to evaluate with a few of them, but there were a few significant injuries, so we'll address that here later on this afternoon.
And talking about the guys that did step in, like O'Brien, Goodson, at the line, and also, Tim Hart got some playing time. If you could talk about the young guys that did step in and how you thought they played.
Yeah, I was really pleased, especially with, those two guys you mentioned, and also, Bryce Huff that came in. I thought, Tim Hart's had a phenomenal camp. He has been a guy that, he redshirted for us last year, but it truly has maximized every day. Whether it was on scout team last year, obviously his training, everything he's doing that's prepared for the opportunity he got last Thursday, it showed that he was ready, and that, he's a guy we're extremely excited about. I think he has a huge upside and potential. I thought he played really well for as many snaps as he had, and making the most of that opportunity. O'Brien Goodson, another freshman, but a true freshman that came in. He has had a great camp. Been very impactful. I think he had 2 tackles for a loss and a sack. Which was great to see there along the defensive front. And then Bryce Huff. When Jackson went down, you came in and played significant snaps, and I think you see his improvement. Coming off his true freshman year, and he's definitely improved his game and put himself in a position to really help us.
And you could talk about T.J. Carter. It was his first time playing as a true freshman as well, and he didn't seem gun shy at all. He seemed fearless. I believe he also had a forced fumble. If you could talk about his game.
TJ came in and he started for us there as a true freshman, and that's always a difficult thing to do, especially there in the back end. But I thought he, when you sat there and you watched him, you go back, you see him on game day, and you watch the film there that night. He doesn't look like a freshman, and that's something that is a great compliment to him and how he's prepared and the way that he's worked. But showed physical play. Had a few mistakes and things that got to be cleaned up, but was definitely productive when he was out there, and I thought he had a really good showing in his first college game.
I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Our next question will come from Trace Trocco with Nightline.
Hey, Coach. Mackenzie Milton, UCF quarterback with 4 touchdowns. Knights put up 61 points. Talk more about how you think your defense matches up with the Knights' high-flying offense.
Well, when you sit there and you watch UCF on offense, you see a team that's very balanced, and we talked earlier about the explosiveness that they have, and a lot of that stems from the quarterback. He's a guy that can throw it, can run, can extend plays. Scoring 61 points. They had I think they had 50 plus there in 3 quarters. It was they definitely capitalized on opportunities, and the quarterback is one that can keep plays alive. He's got a very quick release, extremely accurate with the ball, and if things break down, he can keep it alive to allow guys to get open. The receivers are guys that go after the ball, extremely well. Try to work to high point it. You see their tight ends are very involved in the passing game, and definitely weapons that can possess them or that present some matchup problems. So there's going to be there's definitely a lot of challenges with what they do schematically, and then their personnel makes it definitely enhances that. And so for us, it's about going out there and truly focusing on our communication and making sure that we have 11 guys all playing the same call and then doing their job. And then when you get to that point, you got to win your one-on-one matchups. You got to be able to tackle in the open field. You got to make sure we cut off the vertical route. And if things break down, we've got to make sure that we're accounting for the receivers, and skill guys. Because the quarterback will find them if we come off our man.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, thanks so much for your time today. We look forward to hearing from you again next Monday.
Thank you very much.